Hello everyone, my name is Evan Jacobs. Welcome to another edition of Boxing Time TV. We have a good fight here. Should be interesting for as long as it goes. Terence Crawford versus Kell Brook on November 14th. Terence Crawford is 33, Kell Brook is 34. Terence Crawford is 5'8", Kell Brook is 5'9". They're both welterweights, although Kell Brook had been fighting around the super welterweight limit of 154 pounds. Terence Crawford has a 74 reach. Kell Brook 69 reach. And Terence Crawford 36-0, and Kell Brook 39-2 with his two losses to Gennady Golovkin and Errol Spence. Basically 4 givable losses. If you're going to lose to people, lose to the best, and he's lost to Gennady Golovkin and Errol Spence. This is a 12-round fight, 3-minute rounds, 10-point must scoring system, no mandatory 8 count, 3 knockdown rule waived. Let's go to it right now. Honestly, I think this is going to be a decent fight. Ultimately, I think Terence Crawford's going to win. My feeling is I think Terence Crawford could probably beat Errol Spence. Although my confidence in that is lessening the less that they, it just doesn't seem like that fight's close to being made, and that's a really good fight. Plus, Terence Crawford is 3 years older than Spence, but Terence Crawford also has a mindset that I think is second to none in a fighting style, and he's just terrific. Reminds me a lot of Pernell Whitaker. Kell Brook, good guy, tough guy, really burst onto the scene with his victory over Sean Porter, and was beating guys, but then moved up, took on Gennady Golovkin at middleweight, lost, I think, in 2 or 3 rounds, and then fought Errol Spence, I think lost in 11 rounds. He has come back since then, but just didn't really seem to be the same fighter since then. So right now we have Terence Crawford just landing shots against Kell Brook, although Kell Brook's landed some shots too. I think ultimately there's going to be just sort of a bout of attrition, and Terence Crawford's going to kind of wear him down with the volume of shots. But both these guys hit hard. And I think, Kell Brook, if he can catch Terence Crawford, if he can kind of shake him up a little bit, could give him a decent challenge. I don't think that he'll win. I just think Terence Crawford is too in the game for that. But, yeah. And, that's the thing is, for the longest time I was feeling like, Terence Crawford should beat Errol Spence Jr. if they were to fight. But my thoughts on that are becoming less and less, just simply because it just seems like Spence wants to fight the best guys, and Crawford says he does, fights good guys, fights undefeated guys, but I just think that Errol Spence is more of a put up or shut up guy, and will do certain things to get fights made, whereas Terence Crawford seems like, he has a certain threshold that he wants to fight at, and if it's not there, he'll fight someone else. So it should be very, very interesting. So far right now, Crawford kind of measuring Brook. Brook showing some decent defense. Terence Crawford, right as I say that, gets a left hand in. Although, yeah, Terence Crawford has to be careful. Kell Brook just missing him with a uppercut. All right, so decent first round. I think it could have been even, but they'll probably give it to Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford 10-9, and Kell Brook 10, and Terence Crawford another 10-9. So winning that round 10-9 on all 3 judges' cards, not really a surprise to anyone. Terence Crawford's sort of one of those guys, kind of a slow starter, but I don't know if it's really being a slow starter. Kind of figures out his opponents, and once he figures them out, oh wow, and wobbles Kell Brook, right as I say that. So maybe he's already come close to kind of figuring them out. Once again, you are watching Boxing Time TV. If you like what you're watching, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share these links. Please ring the bell. Please let your family and friends know about this. Just trying to create a hub for simulated fights. Some other fights we're going to be doing are Demetrius Andrade versus Dusty Harrison, and Joshua Franco versus Andrew Maloney. So, yeah, just gearing up for those. Next on Halloween, we have Noya the Monster Inoue fighting fighting, oh gosh, who's that guy? I want to say, because I know, because we already did the fight here. I think it's Jason Maloney. Hold on one second. I'm just going to look that up. Yeah, it was Jason Maloney. And so we did that fight. He fights Naoya Inoue. So it should be interesting. Just because, I mean, when you watch that fight, watch the simulation, I don't really want to tell you too much about what's happened. But it should be interesting just because Inoue had, I think, maybe a little bit tougher than expected time with, gosh, I'm forgetting his name, really good Filipino fighter. Oh gosh, I'm forgetting his name. I'm gonna look it up. I feel that bad. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. I'm gonna find it right now, and I'm gonna be like, yes, that's who I meant. Against Nonito Donaire. Sorry, I couldn't remember that. And while Crawford is landing some hard punches on Kell Brook, finding a way to land, doing the things that he needs to do. And I think Terence Crawford would love nothing more than to end this fight as quickly as possible, because I want to say that Kell Brook went into the, I think he went into the 10th or the 11th round against Errol Spence. And we'll see. Here, I'm going to look that up too. Good thing I have Google at the ready. Yeah, Spence. Hold on one second. Kell Brook, Errol Spence. I'm gonna go into the wiki on that. And yeah, 11th round. So pretty good coming off a loss to Gennady Golovkin and going 11 rounds with Spence, giving him a decent fight. And once again, Terence Crawford winning the round on two of the judges' scorecards. One of the judges has it even. So maybe Kell Brook kind of mounting a little bit of a early rounds rally here. Well, we'll have to see if he can keep it up. Crawford being very, 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 very sharp, very, very pinpoint with his shots, although took left uppercut there from Kell Brook. Oh, lands a right. Oh, two hard shots from Terence Crawford. Make Kell Brook sort of just pull back a little bit. Going to the body. That's one thing about Terence Crawford is a lot of times with him lately, his knockouts have been more of an accumulation of shots in the sense of just going to the guy's body, digging, and then later in the fight, the guy, has nothing, his legs are gone, and Terence Crawford just lands and lands and lands. We're in the final minute of this, the third round. Terence Crawford has had a really good round fighting from a distance, landing combinations like that and uppercuts. And Kell Brook trying, but, literally taking two or three to land one or two at times. I know when I did my simulation between Kell Brook and Errol Spence back before they fought, and they fought back in 2017, that was a very watched fight on the simulator, and that was also it was a very competitive fight. All right. So now 10-9 all across the boards for Terence Crawford as we move into the fourth round now. I mean, these guys are, it's interesting in that Terence Crawford, I mean, Kell Brook, that doesn't really strike me as an inside fighter, but that's what he's going to have to do. And Terence Crawford just more than happy to fight on the outside, land his combinations, and break Kell Brook down. All right. Terence Crawford continuing to do good work from the outside. Kell Brook's had a few moments here as we and he did. One of the judges did give him that last round, so we'll see if he can kind of keep it up. So landing from the outside, and oh, look at that uppercut. Terence Crawford, if Terence Crawford scores a knockout or a knockdown, I think it's going to come with that right uppercut. I'm sorry, I think I said left. That just appears to be how these things go sometimes. And right now, Terence Crawford landing well. Both these guys doing pretty darn good overall. I mean, take Kell Brook while he's losing the rounds. I don't think he's being blown out by any stretch of the imagination. So we'll have to see as the fight goes on. Can Kell Brook maybe show us a little more? But right now, Terence Crawford very comfortable, really in his rhythm. The slow start that I talked about, he's found his range, he's found his way to land punches, and that's certainly what he is doing. All right, well, one judge making it even for Crawford and for Kell for making it even. Two of the judges giving it to Terence Crawford. Let's see what happens in the fifth round. Terence Crawford's up by 10 points now as we move into the fifth round of this fight. Oh, and Kell Brook landing some shots on Terence Crawford. Telling him, hey, don't get too comfortable in there. I came to win this. And that fight that they're going to be happening, that's going to be happening at the MGM Grand in the bubble. Terence Crawford's a top-ranked fighter. I thought for the longest time, and he might still be, I thought Kell Brook was a DAZN fighter. But, these things change. And DAZN, unlike PBC and Top Rank, who have a very tough time, they get together sometimes. Doesn't happen all the time. PBC and Golden Boy, they don't get, they just don't get together. But top rank seems able to make deals. But the problem is they have such a big universe, they don't really need to make the deals. because they have fighters that they can feed their guys, which is why Terence Crawford hasn't fought Errol Spence. It's a big reason why. But, that is a big fight. It's a good fight. It's a fight that should be made. And I believe Terence Crawford wants that fight. I'm going to look up Terence Crawford's credentials. All right. So, right now, let's look up Terence Crawford. All right, we're going to look up his resume. And, he just seems to be having a really good round, moving up and down the ring. Terence Crawford, had a bit of an early surge in the beginning. Seems to be now moved to the ropes. And Terence Crawford teeing off on him, punching him into the ropes. And like I said, Terence Crawford would love nothing more than to stop Kell Brook. So, Terence Crawford, TKO'd Edges, Kejafalekis, Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez Jr., Jeff Horn, Julius Ndongo, Felix Diaz, John Molina, Victor Postal, Hank Lundy, Thomas Delorme, Raimundo Beltran, Yuriorkis Gamboa. So he does have I don't know. It's questionable. Maybe he has a better record than it seems. 10-9 all the way for Terence Crawford, and Kell Brook has a swollen eye. And his eye gives him issues, and it gave him issues against Spence, and it gave him issues against Golovkin. And you just know that Terence Crawford's going to zero in on that, and he wants to end these proceedings. He wants that to be his bullseye. He wants to land well, and he wants to stop Kell Brook in short order. The question is, Kell Brook's very, very durable. And, he hits hard, and he has, that's something Terence Crawford's going to really have to work for. Oh, and Crawford is just turning up the heat, coming in on the inside. Wobbles Brook, goes to the body, gives him some uppercuts. Like I said, that uppercut's going to tell the tale. Brook is wobbly. I think he's durable enough. I think he's going to survive this. But Terence Crawford's placing his punches very, very well. And if Brook's eye gets too bad, they will stop it. It sometimes takes them a while, but they will stop it. Oh, and Terence Crawford landing two good left hands. Might give Kell Brook something. Brook landing two good hands on Terence Crawford might give Crawford something to think about. All right. Landing well with his left hand, setting up shots to the body. I'm telling you, Terence Crawford has taken over in this fight now at the halfway point. Very, very dominant performance. Brooks had some moments. Some of the judges seem to have been kind of, but he has not won a round on any of the judges' cards. He's just fought even. Oh, and now Terence Crawford wobbles him again. It's Man, Kell Brook, tough guy. Sometimes his toughness, it seems to me, gets him, gets him in situations he'd rather not be in. Oh, so now they're saying that Crawford's tired, Brook's tired, and it still has a swollen eye. 10-8, 10-8, 10-9, all for Terence Crawford as we're now in the second half of the fight. 6 more rounds to go, folks. And once again, I think this is going to settle in to being one of those fights where Terence Crawford just beats him up for the next 6 rounds. But Kell Brook fighting back. And if Terence Crawford really is tired, this could be, this could be interesting. Maybe Terence Crawford's thrown a lot of punches. They haven't fought in a while. This is the first fight in the bubble. We will see. Terence Crawford having another bang-up round. Once again, you're watching Boxing Time TV. If you like what you're watching, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share these links. Tell your family and friends. And I think this is actually our 200th simulated bout. So thank you so much for everyone who's been tuning in. We got, hey, here's to 200 more. Just going to keep doing this. As Kell Brook is wobbled, Terence Crawford is just landing and just beating up on Kell Brook now. Brook trying, throwing some shots, having his moments, but yeah, it's all Terence Crawford right now. All right. All right. Terence Crawford's obviously tired. Brook's tired. His eyes swollen shut. Terence Crawford's now really pulling ahead on the cards. 10-9, 10-8, 10-8. Let's see what happens here. Is Terence Crawford going to finish him off, or the judge is going to stop it? Will Kell Brook find something? He comes out and lands a hard right hand. Is he planning on going out guns blazing against Terence Crawford? We will have to see. I mean, hey, that's a pretty... Oh, and they've stopped the fight, folks. Terence Crawford must have been really, really dominant. Sometimes they don't do that. Sometimes it just goes on and on and on. The referee stops the fight due to injury. Brook cannot see. The winner's Terence Crawford by a TKO. The fight lasted 8 rounds. Crawford was not knocked down. Brook was not knocked down, but his eyes swollen shut. The scores are 70-63, 70-61, 70-63. Thank you so much for tuning in to Boxing Time TV. Once again, share these links. Thank you so much for the 200th podcast, for tuning in, for everyone, for all the support, for the kind words. Once again, if you like what you see, please pass this on to family and friends. Tell people about it. At Boxing Time TV, our motto here is, why wait? Watch it now, then watch the real thing when it airs and compares. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.